ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here in this verse, Kardama Muni is continuing to glorify the Supreme Lord who has mercifully appeared as his own son, as Kapila Muni. So he is saying, Sa eva Bhagavan Adya, that very Supreme Personality of Godhead, Helanam na ganayaya naha, not considering the ordinary course of activities of ordinary householder like myself. So Kardama Muni is a householder. So he is saying that the negligence of an householder in carrying out the different kinds of duties and activities may not be comparable to a brahmachari or a sannyasi who are considered even externally more renounced. So in the course of activities, there is a possibility that a householder may be negligent. Helanam na ganyayaha naha graheshu jato gramyana. And Kardama Muni is saying that actually I am just an ordinary householder. Gramyana means just an ordinary householder. But your appearing in my house illustrates, it demonstrates Yah Swanam Paksha Poshanaha, that definitely you support your devotees. Swanam, you take their side, you support them. So Kardama Muni is actually glorifying the process of devotional service, which is so great that the Supreme Lord does not consider anything else but whatever sincerely devotional service is practiced by his devotee. The Lord becomes so much obliged that personally he may appear even as a son of his devotee. Even though the same Supreme Lord is never obliged to the yogis, so much so that many births they may have to practice different kinds of austerity, penances and yoga practice. Still they may not even see the Supreme Lord. But devotional service is so great that where is the question of just not seeing him, the devotees can associate with the Supreme Lord. He can interact with the Supreme Lord. He can have the Supreme Lord as his son. This is the glories of devotional service. So Prabhupada in the purport is explaining that by this incident one can understand that devotional service is actually the supreme path. And at the same time, it is so easy that even a householder can see the Supreme Lord as his own son. So this path of devotional service, the direct path, is so great, it is so superior, far superior than any other method of realization, that one need not have to renounce his family life. He can be an ordinary householder, and at the same time, once he practices sincerely, he can have the Supreme Lord as his own son. Prabhupada also explains in the purport, devotional service is so powerful and transcendental process, it completely surpasses all other methods. And that is why the Supreme Lord also personally, he states, Naham tishtami vaikuntha, na yogi hridayam cha. The Lord says to Narada that it is very difficult to find me in Vaikuntha, and still more difficult to find me in the heart of yogis. But tatra tishtami Narada yatra gayanti madbhaktaha. I am very easily available wherever my devotees are glorifying me. So actually we can see, Krishna is very clearly saying that even by liberating, we get liberation from this world, and then we try to search out the Supreme Lord in the Vaikuntha Loka, it's difficult to find. Or the great yogis are performing different kinds of meditational yoga practices, trying to see the Supreme Lord in the heart. So the Supreme Lord is very difficult to be found, even in the yogi's heart. But very easily one can perceive the presence of the Lord in the midst of the devotees. Wherever the Lord is being glorified sincerely, the presence of the Supreme Lord can be very easily felt. And that is why Prabhupada explains, the Supreme Lord is never called Jnani Vatsala. He is not called Yogi Vatsala. He is always addressed as Bhakta Vatsala, because the devotees are very, very dear to him. Devotional service is very dear to him. And that is the reason Srimati Radharani, who practices the topmost devotional service, is most dear to him. Then Prabhupada also explains in the purport that in Bhagavad Gita, right in the very beginning, Krishna is telling Arjuna, why is he revealing this most sacred, topmost knowledge to him? When Krishna is explaining that this science is a very ancient science, and this I had given originally to sun god Vivaswan, and the same science now I am going to give it to you. Why? Because you are my great devotee, and you are very intimately related to me in devotional service of friendship. Bhaktosi me sakhacha iti. And that's why the Lord is saying that I am revealing this most important, this sacred knowledge unto him. And then further in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that if someone wants to understand the Lord in toto, in truth, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. In truth, if somebody wants to understand, then it is not, Krishna is not saying through jnana mam abhijanati, yoga mam abhijanati. No, Krishna is not saying. Krishna is saying, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. One can understand me in truth only through devotional service. So Prabhupada explains in that context that even though jnanis are also transcendentalists, they realize only the effulgence of that Supreme Personality of Godhead, only the body effulgence of that Supreme Lord they can realize. And even though the yogis are also transcendentalists, they realize only the partial form of the Lord, partial representation of the Lord in the form of Paramatma in this material world. But devotional service to the Lord is so great that whatever is achieved by jnana, whatever is achieved by yoga, the devotees achieve that, and much more than that, the devotees are able to see the Lord face to face and associate with the Supreme Lord, just like Kardama Muni is now associating with the Supreme Lord as his son. That is the greatness of devotional service. And that is why Lord Chaitanya particularly appeared in this age of Kali to distribute this direct devotional service to the Lord. Rupa Goswami explains in one of the chapters in Nectar of Devotion that even though there is no doubt that after karma, gradually one may elevate himself in spiritual life through jnana. And gradually, one may still become elevated as an ascetic or a yogi. So there is no doubt that one is gradually progressing towards devotional service. Rupa Goswami still says that actually these processes like jnana and yoga makes the heart very, very hard. Even though one is advancing in spiritual life, the heart of such a transcendentalist, if he practices jnana and yoga for a long time, becomes very hard, and it becomes very difficult for him to accept devotional service. That's how we find Prakashananda Saraswati criticizing the Supreme Lord when he is dancing, glorifying the Lord. He's saying, no, you must learn Vedanta. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, isn't it? He's saying that, you will lose your sannyas, you will lose your renunciation like this. You should study Vedanta. So much they become attached to this dry Vedanta philosophy. Their heart becomes very hard. They cannot appreciate devotional service anymore. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally came and he wanted to distribute this direct process of devotional service by chanting and glorifying the Lord. Specifically in the age of Kali, all the more it is more important because the age is very short. So many faults are there in this age of Kali. So in Nectar of Devotion, there is a very nice description by Srila Rupa Goswami. He gives a very wonderful explanation from Srimad Bhagavatam about conversation between Krishna and Uddhava, where Krishna himself personally is glorifying devotional service and saying that actually for my devotee, this dry mental speculation these yogic penances, all these things are not required. Personally, the Lord is stating that to Uddhava. So, Srila Rupa Goswami quotes them and explains about how actually they are not favorable in devotional service. As all of you have read about the definition itself of devotional service given by Srila Rupa Goswami, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam, starting with Jnana, Karma, Adi, all this yoga, all these one has to get rid of if he wants to practice pure devotional service to the Lord. One has to become free from all of them. Desire to cultivate speculative knowledge, desire to merge in the Supreme Lord, desire to gain some mystic powers, all these are actually blocks in devotional service, pure devotional service. These are all mixed devotional service. So, Prabhupada explains in that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that some scholars, they even say that even in devotional service, if you have to become perfect, you require jnana and vairagya. Rupa Goswami states completely different. He says, no, you don't require jnana, neither you require vairagya. Actually, if you take to devotional service, jnana and vairagya will automatically come. You don't require to cultivate them. You see, that is very essential to understand. So, some scholars, they argue that even in devotional service, you require to cultivate jnana and vairagya. But Rupa Goswami says, no, it is not required. So then Rupa Goswami quotes many verses to support this understanding. So he says, Prabhupada is explaining this. The cultivation of knowledge or renunciation which are favorable for achieving a footing in Krishna consciousness may be accepted in the beginning, but ultimately they may also come to be rejected, for devotional service is dependent on nothing other than sentiment or desire for such service. It requires nothing more than sincerity. That's all. Actually, that is the qualification. Only qualification for devotional service is neither jnana nor vairagya. Not that you have to be some big renunciant, then only you can become a devotee. Not that you have to be some big jnani, then you can become a devotee. No. He's saying, Prabhupada is saying, only desire to sincerely engage yourself in devotional service with the Lord, that's the only qualification required. You see. Then, Prabhupada is further saying, it is the opinion of expert devotees that mental speculation and artificial austerities of yoga may be favorable for becoming liberated from material contamination, but they will make one's heart harder and harder. Yes, no doubt. You will advance in spiritual life. You may even get closer to becoming liberated. But one has to understand that actually, if one takes to these practices, their heart becomes more harder and harder. Rather than cultivating loving sentiments for the Supreme Lord, their heart becomes more harder. So, they will not help at all in the progress of devotional service. These processes, therefore, are not favorable for entering into transcendental loving service of the Lord. Actually, Krishna consciousness, devotional service itself is the only way of advancing in devotional life. So Rupa Goswami is actually saying, Vidhi Bhakti, even beginning with devotional service in regulation, is far, far better than trying to cultivate jnana, than trying to cultivate yoga. Vidhi Bhakti itself is, because devotional service itself, when we practice, that itself will make us more advanced. In the beginning, we may not have love for the Lord. We may not have natural affection and attraction for the Lord. But by practicing Vidhi Bhakti, one will awaken his love, spontaneous love. Whereas by practicing yoga and jnana, actually his heart will become more and more hard. It will not awaken devotional love for the Lord. Rather, it becomes difficult for them to accept devotional service. You see, why Srila Rupa Goswami is stressing so much that one should take directly to devotional service is very important to understand, isn't it? So then, actually Krishna consciousness, devotional service itself is the only way of advancing in devotional life. Devotional service is absolute. So Prabhupada is explaining very beautifully. It is both the cause and the effect. The Supreme Godhead, He is the cause and effect of all that He is. And to approach Him, the absolute process of devotional service, which is also absolute, has to be adopted. Very simple to understand. He is absolute truth. Only absolute method can be adopted to reach that absolute truth. No other, nothing lesser than absolute can be adopted to reach Him. And devotional service is that absolute process by which one can achieve the Supreme Lord. And then Prabhupada is again quoting the same verse. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Same thing. One can understand me only through devotional service. Then Srila Rupa Goswami quotes from Bhagavatam. In the 11th canto, 20th chapter, verse 31 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, My dear Uddhava, for persons who are seriously engaged in my service, the cultivation of philosophical speculation and artificial renunciation are not very favorable. It's very important. Krishna himself is personally telling Uddhava, those who are personally engaged in my devotional service, they should never take to process of jnana or yoga. They are not favorable at all. When a person becomes my devotee, he automatically attains the fruits of renunciation of material enjoyment, and he gets sufficient knowledge to understand the absolute truth. So if somebody takes to devotional service, he will automatically get whatever a karmi is aspiring to get, some fruitive results, heavenly pleasures, all those things. Devotee will automatically get all of them. And he will also become transcendentally knowledgeable. That Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who worships the Supreme Lord sincerely, his heart will be illuminated with knowledge, because the Lord is seated in the heart. The Lord personally illuminates such a devotee's heart with knowledge. So separate endeavor for knowledge is not required for a devotee in that sense. Of course, then one should not think from tomorrow I will not read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all these things. These are not endeavor of knowledge. This Swadhyaya, reading the words of the Lord personal, this is Krishna Katha. Bhagavad Gita is not mental speculation. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is Krishna Katha. That we have to hear. That is an essential part of devotional service, isn't it? Hearing is most important. So one should not misunderstand that. But yes, to become some great Sanskrit scholar, I will quote many, many verses to impress people, all those things. I will read Vedanta, let me understand. They are all simply endeavors. That is not required. Then, second, another verse Rupa Goswami quotes. Verse 32 and 33 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord further instructs Uddhava, my dear friend, the profit derived from fruitive activities, austerities, culture of philosophical knowledge, renunciation, practice of mystic yoga, charity, and all similar auspicious activities are automatically achieved by my devotees. So even charities we need not do. Isn't it? You can imagine. All other simple things, renunciation, austerities, all the profit derived from all these, Krishna is saying to Uddhava, my devotees will automatically get all of them. Are automatically achieved by my devotees. Those who are simply attached to me by loving devotional service. These devotees have everything at their disposal, but they desire nothing outside of my devotional service. Actually, by the Lord's grace, all of these things are available for a devotee, but still a devotee does not aspire for any of those things. That is the greatness of a pure devotee of the Lord. All of them are standing at the disposal of a devotee. Isn't it? Mukti is standing at his doorstep. All kinds of opulences are standing at his doorstep, but a devotee does not desire any of them. If ever a devotee should desire some material profit like promotion to heavenly planet or some spiritual profit to go to Vaikuntha, by my causeless mercy his desires are very easily fulfilled. You see, the Supreme Lord is saying, even if a devotee, actually pure devotee never desires, but even if a devotee desires that I want some material opulences, then I want some heavenly pleasures, or I want to go, just like we are seeing that actually all kinds of heavenly pleasures were available for a Kardama Muni. He was able to take his spaceship, much better pleasure he was able to enjoy, even than the heavenly demigods. Even they were rivaling him, the kind of pleasure he was enjoying. So they're all available at the doorstep. So the Lord is saying that I fulfill those desires also. So then Prabhupada is giving the conclusion. Actually, a person who is developing Krishna consciousness and still has some attachment to material enjoyment will soon be freed from such a tendency by regularly discharging devotional service under the instruction of bona fide spiritual master. So, therefore we can understand that actually that is how devotional service platform is so great that whatever is required, whatever is the profit which is achieved by any other processes, everything is available for a devotee. And that is what we can see in today's verse, that the Supreme Lord, even for a grahastha, ordinary householder like Kardama Muni, becomes available personally to be present and associate with his devotees. And even though the same Supreme Lord is very difficult to be achieved, even with by great mystic yogis. So we'll stop with this Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.